morning, Quadcopter 101 here. What I got for you today is another neat review. This is the SwellPro Swift 2. Now you look at the SwellPro Swift 2 and you tell yourself right away what it is. It's a racer. Yeah, another racer. This one though, I kind of like the idea of it. Actually, it's the way it was sent to me. Everything was ready to go right out of the box. You really didn't need to do any tuning through Cleanflight, although you could. I went in there to double check that everything was set up properly. But yes, this is one of the few racer quadcopters that I've seen that comes completely assembled. The props are on there. Everything inside the Cleanflight is all set up properly. You're ready to go. All you need to do is just charge your battery, slap it on the quadcopter, put in some batteries into your flight controller, and you're ready to go. Okay, I like that. You know, a lot of the other quadcopters I've been flying lately, the racer quadcopters in particular, required a lot of fiddling just to be able to properly get into the air, but this one is ready to go. Now, SwellPro is a company that specializes in making waterproof high-end quadcopters. When I mean waterproof, I actually mean water resistant. All the important components inside this quadcopter have been coated with a waterproof coating to prevent corrosion and shorting should they get wet. Now, that's not a problem for me out here in the west in the desert, but back east, you know, if you land in wet grass or a puddle, yeah, you can destroy like the ESCs and short them out, and that can create big problems for you. This quadcopter is not going to care about landing in wet grass or even a puddle, or even being submerged probably for a short period of time. It should be able to, you know, if you let it dry out first, it should be able to fly again without any problems. Let's see, what are the things about this quadcopter? It's a modular design, but all the important components of this quadcopter are encased within carbon fiber around the body. It's like armored. Even the ESCs, notice the ESCs aren't on the arms like you see on most other racers. They're integral. There's an integral control board that has all 4 ESCs that you can purchase from SwellPro separately if you need to do such, but I can't see how you're going to need to buy another ESC with this particular quadcopter since it's so well protected from both shorting and from also being impact damaged. But again, they're all inside the center body of the quadcopter. Let's go over the other things on the quadcopter. It has an 800 TVO FPV camera with a 40-channel FPV transmitter, which transmits on, or which has 3 different separate power levels of 25, I believe 200, and I believe 400. If I'm wrong there, I'll correct myself up here with text. They're selectable via a push button right below the battery right here that you can press for 3 seconds to change between channels, a short press to change between frequencies in each channel band, and a 5-second press if you want to change the power levels from 25 to 200 to 400 milliwatts. Let's see. The transmitter antennas come out the back here, the receiver antennas. This is one thing I kind of don't like. These wires are awfully close to the blades here, so be very careful when plugging in your batteries to make sure the wires, including the receiver antenna wires, don't have any chance of impacting with the blades during normal flight, because you will cut off those blades if they do. Let's see, what else? That's the main parts of the quadcopter, I believe. I didn't go over the motors. They're 2205, 2300 kV motors, and the ESCs are 25 amp ESCs, and again, they're encased within the body of the quadcopter. Let's go over the transmitter. This is something special on this particular quadcopter, is its transmitter. It's specifically from SwellPro. The on-off buttons are right here. You press them down both at the same time to turn this transmitter on. But what I like about this transmitter doesn't let you turn it off when it's connected, after it's connected to the quadcopter, until you remove the battery from the quad, or you unplug the battery from the quadcopter. It will alert you saying, hey, that battery's still connected, and it won't let you do that. The different switches here are all connected to the quadcopter and used. You know, this is channel 1, aux channel 2, aux channel 3, aux channel 4, aux channel 5, and aux channel 6 as per Cleanflight. I went in and confirmed that. But this first one, switch right here, is to lock the motors up and unlock the motors ready to go by pulling down. This quadcopter does not start up, I believe. I haven't started it yet, but I don't believe it starts up in idle mode. When you bring it down to unlock the motors, you need to give it some throttle to get the motors turning. You can turn the lights, the LED lights. It has LED lights on the back of the quadcopter by flipping down the button like so if you want to save battery power. Now this is your mode switch. It's mislabeled. It says up position is stabilized, center is advanced, and bottom is intermediate. I went into Cleanflight just to confirm that because that didn't sound right. But the correct position settings are up is stabilized, center is intermediate, which is horizon mode, and bottom down is advanced, which is rate mode. So angle, intermediate, or angle, horizon, and acro mode as such through Cleanflight. And this quadcopter does have on-screen display. Primarily, the on-screen display is for battery power. It gives you remaining battery voltage, current, and I believe one other parameter. You'll see that because I'm going to include the FPV video with this. But you can turn that off if you want to save some power. But I don't see the need to do such because the battery on this is so large. I haven't gone over the battery yet. And these back buttons here, either one, if you press it down, it will turn on the alarm. Say if you crash the quadcopter off in the distance in high grass, you can find the quadcopter by pressing the button here and it will beep to let you know where it's at. Yes, I did not go over the battery on this quadcopter. It is a huge battery, 11.1 volt, 3S, but 2600 milliampere hour battery. And you get 2 of them in the package. So you're ready to go right there. You get 2, you get a spare battery to go with this. So I didn't bring the spare battery with me today. I only brought that one, but that's pretty darn cool. And with this 2600 milliampere hour, they predict you can get up to 15 minutes of flight time, which is quite a long flight time for a FPV racer. So it might be possible actually with this large battery. We'll see. So let's go for a flight of the SwellPro Swift 2 and see how it performs. Hope you enjoy this flight. Okay, to start this quadcopter, make sure all switches are up and throttle all the way down and press into both of these on-off switches simultaneously. That'll bring up the transmitter. Then we can turn on the receiver on the quadcopter by plugging in its battery and listen for its ESCs to initialize. Then we're going to make sure that these wires are clear of the motors, of the blades, and they are. So we're ready to go there, and we see we have receiver power. What happened there? Oh, it's touchscreen. I want to come out of that. But yes, you can modify this particular, the settings on this transmitter via this touchscreen, and I'm not going to do that. It says don't mess with it. It's set up, should be ready to go right out of the box. Okay, one other thing I want to do, 2 other things actually, is we are going to record via my DVR here. So let me set that. Set camera to DVR and starting the recording. Recording is started on my VVR D2 goggles. And I also have an 808 keychain camera that I am going to start, that I attached to the front of this quadcopter since I want to see that. And starting the recording. So we're good to go. And we will start off in anger mode and arming the motors. Oh, I take that back. When you start the motors, they do start up in idle. As we see here, let's take to the air and fly it around slowly in angle mode to see how it performs. And it's stabilized. What's its yaw rate? Good yaw. Okay, while we got power, let's bring it in and do the punch test. The obligatory punch test. Ready, set. It's got some punch. Everybody wants to see the punch test. Okay, let's fly it around the desert. Get a feel for it, do a couple ovals. I'm just trying to see how it feels. Okay. It's flying well. Yeah, this particular quadcopter I think is designed for the beginners that want to enter into racing. It's pretty much set up, like I said, ready to go out of the box. I'm trying let's see what its funnels are like. Now, supposedly this thing's fast. Let's see how true that is. Let's bring it in, and then we'll... Give it a forward pitch out across the desert. Going by. Yeah, it's fast. Hello! The Swift 2. Yeah, this is more intended for the new flyers. It's a nice little flyer. Wonder how my 808's handling it. Keychain camera. Now, like I said, this has OSD. Now, I was doing some high-speed flight there. Let me land in a second, see how those batteries, or how that battery held up to this flight. Particularly, see what, I've got to take a look inside my FPV goggles, see what the remaining power is. Now, looking here, I see that we got 11.7 volts. So yeah, it still has a hell of a lot of power left to it. Let's go back into the air again. Wait a minute, I want to hear that beeper. So when you press the button, you can hear it beep. Okay, that's the beeper. Going back to the air again. Now, let's try the maneuverability of this thing. Okay, how can it stop on a dime? Well, I've seen better. But you know, keep in mind it's got that big heavy battery on it. So with that size battery, you know, don't expect it to be extremely maneuverable, because that battery is going to slow it down, or have a lot of momentum to it to be able to turn it. But it's turning, it's doing a job. Well, what do you know? It is a fast little bugger, I'll give you that. But it takes a while to turn though, with that battery. Yeah, there we go. Okay, next thing to try, horizon mode. Yeah, horizon, is it stabilized? Seems to be. Okay, let's bring it in closer again. We're going to try something then. Back in that, or horizon mode going up. Flipping it. Oh, it flips nicely, actually. Does it flip real nicely. Okay. Coming down lower. Bring it in close. Well, yeah, this does give you a lot of flight time, because let me check it again after all that. See where we're at now. What are we at now? After all that, we are down to 11.4 volts. Still got tons of flight time on this. Going back to the air again. Now let's bring it in closer so you can see it. This is it in flight. Nice little quadcopter. Nice little racer. Ready, set. Going out across the desert. So yeah, this would be an excellent, for intermediate flyers who already know how to fly, but again, an excellent first quadcopter, first racer. because it is set to fly right out of the box, folks. You'll be able to have fun with it right away. And if you crash in the grass, wet grass, who cares? It don't care. Actually, this is a lot of fun to fly, this one. Very swift. Oh yeah, that's its name. The Swift 2, actually. They call it the Swift 2 because there are other quadcopters out there with the name of Swift, and they wanted to distinguish it from the others. So that was their first choice of name, was Swift, but then they said, hey, there are some other Swifts out there, so we're going to have to change the name. Love it. Fun. Long flyer. What are you at now after all that? Come back to Papa and let's see how much voltage we got now. By the way, I like to fly line of sight a lot because I want you folks to see it flying. You know, if I fly with goggles on all the time, 11.2 volts, still got a lot of power. You won't see it flying. You'll just see FPV view, which can be somewhat boring at times. I think a lot of people like to see it actually in the air. Now, I could have my wife here keeping an eye on it, but I prefer to keep my own eye on it. Oh, this is a nice little racer. So yeah, they got something here. SwellPro got a nice racer. Kind of like it. A long flight time. Even when I'm hauling butt, it gives you a long flight time. Okay. I don't know what else to say about this quadcopter. And boy, it's a long flyer with that big battery. Let's see where we're at now. Put you down again. Where are you at now? In the 10 volt range yet? You're right close to it. Once you get down in the 10 volt range, I'm going to stop recording. This will be the last run. Last run. Great. Did I hear a beep there? Yeah, it's starting to get sluggish now. I can feel that the battery's getting tired. So yeah, we'll bring it in for now. That's enough flight time. I'm not going to run it until the battery dies. So we'll bring it in. Let's get a view of it with the mountains in the background here. Let's get it closer though. Get my thumbnail, in other words. The Swift 2. Neat. Neat quadcopter. Okay, we're going to land it now and call it quits. That was a pretty good flight. Got a lot of flight time out of this particular quadcopter. It still has more flight time, but I'm not going to run it until the battery dies. I don't like doing that with lipos. I like to get a longer life out of them. And again, you turn off the motor by disarming. So, very simple. Now watch this. If I try to turn this transmitter off, it says, turn off receiver, exclamation point. You just can't turn this off until you unplug the receiver, like so, or the battery. And now, it shuts itself down. Pretty neat, huh? Okay, let me turn off the 808 keychain camera too. And let's talk about this. So overall, this particular quadcopter, again, I kind of like it. It is ready to go for new flyers right out of the box. Everything is assembled. You get 2 batteries. Nothing really. You don't really need to go into Cleanflight to see what the settings are. You know, to modify the settings. It's good to go for new flyers right out of the box. New FPV flyers. That, and again, I stress that, not brand new flyers. Those of you who are looking for a first quadcopter, this is not for you. You will break it, you will hurt somebody or hurt yourself. But for those flyers that already can fly and are wishing to transition to racers, yeah, this is a great quadcopter to do such. So again, this is the SwellPro Swift 2. Hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101, signing out.